welcome to Drawing with Paolo. Today we're going to be drawing two boxers fighting each other. And here's our first boxer on the left side of our screen. Here are his hips, here is his shoulder that attaches to his, of course, elbow and forearm, and then his other arm, shoulder, elbow, forearm coming back up to the big boxing glove, another big boxing glove over here. And then he's going to have his knee bent backwards like this to his tibia. And then he's going to have another leg going forward and slightly bent, but mostly straight to support his weight. And then big boxer shorts. These, boxing shorts are immense. And so we're going to give him really big boxing shorts. Just like this. Alright, and then we're going to erase the details inside there. Let's add his, now that we've done his skeleton, we're going to add the thickness to his body. So the muscle and skin that wraps around. So his forearm like this, and his bicep like that, and his forearm coming underneath and going all the way to the boxing glove. And we may add a few details like his chin here, and then his forehead like that. I'm going to flesh out his head a little bit more. Add his shoulder, his bicep, which goes into his forearm, his tricep here, elbow, forearm once again, and then chest, and then where the abs are going to be, and then the back muscle here. And we've got a few lines to go for the top of his shorts here, which will represent the belt of his shorts, or the elastic, with a few ziggly lines, like zigzag lines like this. And then we'll create a little V line here at the bottom, which will give a little bit of detail to the drawing. And details in many cases will allow drawings to look a lot more interesting and give a few places to go for the eye to look at things. And we want to make interesting drawings for sure for our viewers out there. So alright, let's make a little boxing boot and erase the lines that we don't need anymore. By the way, I don't really erase with my hand. A lot of people have been writing me saying, hey, how do you erase with your hand? I actually use an eraser, and so I erase my lines, and then through editing it looks like I'm erasing with my hand. I do that because I think that watching me erase is sort of boring. So instead of boring you guys out there, I'd rather just swipe my hand and the lines are gone. But I really tend to just erase, and I use two types of erasers. I use a fat white eraser, and then I use an eraser that looks like a pencil. And it's sort of like a plastic tube, and inside the plastic tube there is a long tube eraser in there. And if you're interested in the tools that I use, then you can go ahead and find a video on my YouTube channel called Special Video on Tools, and you'll see those tools I've just been talking about. So as you've noticed, I've just started work on my right side boxer, and I really want this boxer to have a different look than my first boxer, so he'll probably be from another nationality. We'll have a boxer to the left and a boxer to the right that'll be different nationalities, just so that I can show you how to draw different types of people. So we're going to give him his big boxer shorts too. Not boxer shorts, but boxing shorts. And we're going to put some clothes lines in there, so folds and whatnot. Here's his big boxing glove and his forearm. I'll come up to his elbow. And then, of course, his shoulder line right here, and his tricep muscle, and his elbow, and his bicep. Just like this. And you can sort of start seeing the lines happening. So what I just did is I erased the hand of the left-sided boxer because I really wanted that his hand to be behind the secondary boxer. And even the secondary boxer's hand will be behind the first boxer. And I really want them to look like they're swinging really hard, but none of them is really making contact. I don't want anything to look violent or anything, so just make them miss each other in this case. If you guys want to make your boxers hit each other, then hey, go ahead, do that if you want to. This is the beauty of drawing, is you can invent your own world. In drawing and on this piece of paper, we are the gods, and we can invent what we like. And that's what's pretty cool about all this stuff. Drawing is pretty neat. You invent whatever you like and make it the way you want it to be. Alright, so little boots here too. The boots for our boxers. Boxing boots. Boxing is a very, very, very healthy sport. It can get you into shape really quickly. Well, the training aspect of it, not the boxing aspect of it. I mean, the boxing aspect, I wouldn't want to be punched in the face or in the body frequently. So the exercising to get to be a good boxer is fantastic for your body. I'm not so sure about the punching part. So I'd rather just do the training part of it, which is very good for your health. Yeah, okay, I'll admit that they're wearing boxing gloves, and those aren't as hard as a hand with, just the bone and skin hitting your face. But I still wouldn't want to be hit in the face by a boxing glove. If you guys feel like doing that, go ahead. It's your life. You can pick and choose what you want to be doing and working out with. So we're gonna add our left boxer's hair here, and we're gonna erase the lines that we don't need, and then add a few more lines uh, to this character for his forehead and his nose. I've been getting a lot of email while we're on the subject of drawing these boxers about drawing human beings. And I've gotten emails about, hey, can you draw a skateboarder? Hey, can you draw a superhero? Hey, can you draw a painter? Hey, can you draw a baseball player? Hey, can you draw a boxer? Hey, can you draw, etc., etc., etc. And as long as you know how to draw the human body, you can then draw any kind of costume on top of this person or this character, and then it can become whatever you want that character to be. So essentially, the first goal in drawing any kind of character is to understand the human body. Once you understand that, that human body can become a superhero, that human body can become a sport type of person, or a news anchor, or a fireman. It doesn't really matter. The whole point is understanding how to position the human body and how to draw it. The rest all comes pretty simply. Once I have my boxer here, if I give him a cape and an S on his chest, then he becomes a superhero. If I put ice skates on him, then he becomes a hockey player. So that's the whole point to understanding how to draw the human body, and that's why today we're drawing boxers. Now, of course, they're doing something. They're boxing. But the human body is the main element here. All right, so there's our first boxing glove, which is sort of made of leatherette, or leather, I'm not too sure. You boxers out there know what they're made of. You can leave me a little message saying, hey, this is what boxing gloves are made of, P. So we're going to give our other boxers here some elbow lines. We're going to trace some outlines here. Get this drawing darkened a little bit because I'm really satisfied with those outlines. So I'm going to now darken these lines in. Add a few muscles here and there, so little curved lines like this at the top. A muscle line for the neck. Fill that in. Back here, and do his shorts. Just like this. Fill that in as well. It's sort of like, this reminds me of Naruto's collar. You know how Naruto's collar has these little separators? We're going to do the same thing here for his boxer shorts. It's as if we took Naruto's shirt or jacket and stretched it out, put him around our boxer's waist here. I know, it sounds crazy. For those of you that don't know Naruto, Naruto is a manga character, Japanese anime. Pretty good, I guess. Cartoon. So now we're going to color in some parts of this boxer, and what's important to know is that we're going to leave some nice reflections on these body parts. And you have to imagine that, let's say these guys are in a ring, in a boxing ring, then essentially there are lights all around them in order to keep them nice and bright so everybody can see the boxers. And also, boxing matches are filmed a lot. They're being shot by camera, so you want them to be super illuminated, which means in this case that there'll be a lot of reflection on these body parts here. So on the forearm, we're going to leave a nice white band here on his forearm. Here on his arm as well. On the top of his arm, we're going to leave a little white band here as well, in the same shape as his arm. And on top of his shoulder, we're going to leave a little circular shape to be the reflection on his shoulder. So we're going to make a nice little circle here. Now, just to show you, give you an example, you don't have to draw the circle, but the idea is to understand that reflection needs to have that circular shape. And the reason for that is quite simple, is that if you have a rectangular shape or a tubular shape like his forearm, then the reflection should be rectangular or tubular. If you have a circular shape like an elbow or a shoulder, then the reflection should be round, just like the shape it's on. So I hope that makes sense to you guys out there. And we're going to need to keep those little reflections going a little bit everywhere on this boxer's body. And it's not so much a question of where the light sources are. We can invent wherever we want the lights to be. In this case, there isn't a main point of where light is coming from. They'll come from multiple angles, so we can put reflections wherever we like, as long as it looks natural. So like right here, there's a little bit of a reflection. But of course, it should be darker at the top, because I don't think the light can get into there because his hand is close to his body. and we'll darken in some abs here, abdominal muscles, and little pectoral muscle attaching to his shoulder here, just like that. And color in his pecs. Nice light shade of gray. Very simply put. Of course, there's the obliques here. Now, if ever you want to learn to draw the human body, you can always go online, go to the internet, grab your iPad, your computer, whatever, go online and find the photos that you can reproduce, or reproduce the human body parts, such as the hand, the forearm, the legs, whatever. And the more you draw, the better you get at it, of course. And don't forget the 3 P's. Well, you know, there's 4 P's. There's Paolo, but what I mean, what I mean is there's 3 P's: patience, perseverance, and practice. These 3 P's, you'll be able to find success in drawing. Patience is super important because you have to be patient with yourself when teaching yourself to draw. And it takes time to draw and learn to draw. So you need to do it. You need to take time, be patient with yourself, practice 20 minutes a day, not just once a weekend. I'm giving you guys, you know, maybe one drawing a week or so, but you guys should be drawing way more than that. You should be drawing 20 minutes a day, whatever kind of drawing. It doesn't really matter. Sit in front of a chair, draw the chair. Sit in front of a glass, draw the glass. In front of your mom, draw your mom, whatever. Those are very important practice pieces that you get to do and that you should be doing, and not just depend on these videos that I'm giving you. Which, of course, I know through email communication, these videos are great help. But there's nothing like standing in front of something and drawing that real object, or looking at a picture online and drawing that picture. And you know, get some confidence going, get some drawings going. All right, I'm going to add a few details to this left-sided boxer shorts. We're going to add a few arrows here, just like that, just to, you know, give them a little bit of a cool feature. I like to put detail in my drawings, as you probably know, and the detail is really neat because it gives the eye something to look at. It's like a feast for the eyes. The more detail you put in there, the more fun it is to look at. And sometimes you can leave some little Easter eggs, and Easter eggs are little surprise elements that people don't expect to see in a drawing. You can put something special in there, such as a small logo or a little message, or you know, something that's pretty cool that people won't expect to see in the drawing. If they find it, it's like, oh wow, it's like a secret thing in your drawing that can be a lot of fun. So there we go, just drawing a few details here to the shorts, and we're going to color them a shade of gray, and then use a darker shade of gray to represent the folds in the clothing. And if you'd like to learn more about folds in clothing, well, I've got really great drawings for you about how to draw that stuff. So there's a Yoda video that is really cool because there's lots of folds in his clothing. There's my Darth Maul video that has lots of folds in the clothing as well. So you can go check those out on my YouTube channel, which is the best place to find all my videos. Rather than just search in YouTube to search for my name, you should go to my channel. It's way easier. I'm going to add my old DWP logo here within his glove and on his belt, just so, you know, to prove that these are my drawings when people are checking them out online. And also, you guys can write whatever you like in there. You can put your name, your family name, your school's name in these portions here, these glove parts. On his belt, if you like, on the side of his pants. You make your drawing yours, right? You own this thing, so you just create whatever you like. And I really do believe that anyone can learn to draw. Some people just watch these videos and watch me draw. They're entertained by the fact that I'm drawing here. But the whole point of these videos is I hope to give you the understanding that you are able to draw. Yes, you, this person right now watching this video, you can draw this stuff. I believe that everybody has the capability. Some are born with it, you know, to a certain degree. But I really believe that those that have a preference for drawing will continue drawing, will get better, whereas others will maybe get discouraged by someone. Someone will say, you know, oh, I love your elephant, and you'll say, it's not an elephant, it's a horse, and then you get this, get discouraged, and you don't want to draw anymore. But I really think that everybody knows how to draw. You just need to sit down, be patient, practice, and draw what you see, and then you can get really good at it. So there's no difference between you and me. I've just been drawing for a long time, and that's what counts here, is that you need to be drawing. To learn how to draw, is all you need to do is draw. It's like riding a bike. So, alright, let's add some nice details to these shorts. Nice little folds in the clothes. Just like that. Color these in. Nice contrast. And we're going to color in some leg shading here, and of course, don't forget the reflection. We need to have a nice light reflection off these legs, just like this. Color that in. I would like to thank all the people that have been following me on Facebook. I have a nice Facebook page called Drawing with Paolo on Facebook, and it's become a great community of 1,700 people that are now following me there, and it's a great place to share your drawings, and so that's what I do. I tend to post your drawings onto Facebook. It's really, really cool because it's a nice community setting where everybody can comment on each other's drawings, and we encourage everyone to share drawings, and we give nice comments, and we encourage everyone to draw and to share drawing. I have 36,000 followers on YouTube, which thank you very much for being so many. I really appreciate it. But I'd like to invite you to come on over to Facebook and have those discussions with us. If you don't have a Facebook account, that's fine. You can continue following along on YouTube, but you may have noticed that I do not answer my YouTube posts just because there are way too many, and I'm trying to consolidate all of the places where I tend to answer my emails or comments. So I'm trying to get everybody onto Facebook. It's a great place for me to post your drawings and add comments, and I love interacting with you guys. I do it whenever I can, but I'm trying to keep it in one location. So Facebook is the place to be if you want to share your drawings with me. And so Drawing with Paolo on Facebook. I also have a Twitter account which allows you to learn about new things. So I send out little posts about the new drawings that just came out, and I give you a few comments about life in general, about drawing, and some philosophy in drawing and whatnot. So yeah, go ahead and follow me on Twitter if you like, and it's Drawing with Paolo on Twitter. That being said, we're drawing shoelaces here for this nice boxing boot. And I'm not gonna color this in too dark. I want to have a nice contrast with my other boxer later on. So I'm gonna keep these boots white. And we're just gonna color a light shade of gray after I finish a few details here, filling in these little holes for the shoelaces, or the boot laces. And we're gonna color the top and sides here just a little bit, very, very light. I don't want to make anything too dark. There you go. So a little bit of shading here and there. Awesome. And we're going to add just a bit of a cheek shading here to the side of the boxer's face. So the boxer to the left is pretty nearly completed. I need to finish his right leg, but I'm going to go looking around and just, pick and choose where I need to add more detail. Forehead, chin, for example, and whatnot. But what can also help in drawing is while you're drawing something, and you're sort of like, yeah, okay, is it good, is it not good? You're sort of wondering about it. It's good to put it aside for a little bit. Put your drawing aside, and put it away, and come back the next day and take a look at it again, and you'll see it in a different perspective, different eye. And you may think that's way better than it was, or you might find exactly what you need to change. And a lot of artists do that. I do that once in a while. I'll just put my drawing away and look at it later on, and I'll notice that, hey, wait a minute, I can do this and that to make it better, embellish it. And another cool trick is don't throw out the drawings you don't like. Keep them. The reason why you'd want to keep some drawings that you think you failed at, well, is to keep a good example of where you failed, and so you can always compare those and make better drawings from them later on. So I have, as you notice, I'm drawing on a pad, and this pad has a whole bunch of drawings in there, and there's some good ones and there's some less good ones, but I'm keeping them all together in there, and the point is so that I can go rummage through them once in a while and see which ones are really good and I enjoy them, or ones that are really bad and I enjoy them too. It's a great learning process for me to look up the stuff that I don't think is so good, even ask other individuals what they think about those drawings and get their perspective on them, and maybe they'll say, this is an amazing drawing, and I think it's not, but getting that perspective makes me feel better about this drawing, and then I can just make it better the next time. So don't throw your drawings out. Keep them, and keep them as a great source of inspiration for your next time around with the next characters. Nothing, however, beats drawing from an image or drawing from real life, things that are around you. Makes things a lot easier, and you learn a lot faster. All right, so let's concentrate on this boxer to the right side, and I want to make this boxer different than the first one. So I'm going to keep him bald. I'm not going to give him any hair. And I think I'm going to make him darker too. So he's going to be darker skinned, so a bit wider nose, and give him some almond-shaped eyes here. So there we go. The point, of course, is that, when you're being punched in the face, you probably don't keep your eyes open. I've not boxed, but I'm pretty sure that if I'm being punched in the face, I'm probably going to squint a little bit or have my eyes slightly closed, possibly. If you guys are boxers, let me know, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't keep my eyes open when I'm getting punched in the head, or when when I got a boxing glove up against my face. My eyes are probably half closed, and this is what I'm doing with this boxer. Give him a bit of a little bit thicker lip here, and we're going to give him, as I said, no hair, so we give him some nice lines here on his forehead. And then as we color in his head later on, we're going to make sure to have nice light reflection on top of that shaved head of his. He's got a beautiful shaved head, just like me. Beautiful shaved head. I'm tooting my own horn here while I'm drawing. I've got, as I'm growing older here, I'm losing my hair, so it's a better idea just to get rid of it. No more hair. So I'm saving money on shampoo, which is fantastic. I'm going to add a few more details to this eyebrow here. Color that in, make it nice and dark. And then we're going to add a few details to his cheeks here, side of his head. There we go, a little bit of details to his lip. We're going to probably erase this line here and then redraw that. And it seemed like it was all fudged up, so we're going to fix that up a little bit. Redraw that outline, make it look a little bit better. There we go. And don't be afraid to erase. A lot of people are worried about erasing, and that shouldn't be an issue. Just erase your line and redraw. That's why the first line should be very light. You never want to make your lines too heavy, because then when you erase, you have a really hard time doing that. Okay, so coloring in this head here, we're going to leave some nice white spots, white reflections, on either side of his head. So it'll look like there are two spots, not too far above him. One spot that is illuminating his forehead, one spot that is illuminating the sort of back side of his head. His cheek here will be illuminated as well. And so, really cool aspect here to coloring this person's head. And a really great way of learning how to color in a head like this is to take an egg and just grab an egg, put it on the table, put it where there's light and shadow, and then just draw what you see. And our heads are more or less in the same shape as an egg, and you can learn how to color these things really easily by taking an egg as an example. So we're going to color the side of his nose here, leave a nice white ridge upon the top of his nose, so it looks like there's a nice light reflection there. And this boxer's arm is also going behind the first boxer, right? So they're both coming in hard, but they're sort of missing each other. So I like that idea of no full contact in this case. Alright, so keep in mind as well that look at how his shoulders are square at us the viewer, but his front leg is really pivoted towards the left side boxer. And so that means his torso is twisting. So we shouldn't be able to see his abs or his abdominal muscles here, so we need to have a line sort of start from the middle and disappear to the front, right? See this curve here? Now, these abdominal muscles, we can probably see the right side ones, but the left-sided ones are turned towards the other boxer. And that gives the semblance of reality when we're drawing these things. It looks real, right? And the only way you can get good at this stuff is to really look at the human body and draw it frequently. I remember when I was in college, we'd draw a model for about 4 hours a day. So there was one model, and they'd take different poses. We'd start really short drawings. We'd start with a few seconds for each pose just to get the flow going, the shape, the positioning. And then they'd stick in a pose for half an hour, and we'd draw them for half an hour, and then they'd stick in a pose for an hour, and we'd draw for an hour. And then they'd do one for 2 hours, and be like, holy cow, that's a long period. But you can get in every little detail, and it's pretty cool. And those are things I recommend you do too, is if you want to get really good at drawing human beings, just look at a human being. You've got tons around you, I'm pretty sure. Unless you live somewhere in the Himalayas, you should have a few people around you, and then that's what you want to do, is draw those people that are around you, and say, hey, can I use you as my model? Just sit down there, or stand up here against the wall, and I'd like to draw what I see. And that's a really great way to learn how to do this stuff. All right, let's color in this glove. Another really dark glove with a light reflection on top. And a few details here to his boxing glove. Alright. Color in the abs. A little bit darker here in the chest area. There's a little bit of a dip here, so we need to make that darker. A little bit darker underneath the chin. Make this pec look a little bit thicker, so we're going to color this bottom part. There, it's coming along pretty nice. It's nice and soft. Color this in here, give it a little bit of shading. Alright, you really want to detach every muscle. Make it look like it has real volume that's popping off that page. Push this part of the body back into that drawing. A little bit more gradient here on the reflection of that glove. Make this a little bit darker here. And it's, notice that I'm adding layer upon layer of elements to this drawing. So it's not done everything in one shot, as I draw and I draw and I keep going back to specific parts of it. It's sort of like oil painting. Oil painting, you start with layers, a lighter coat and then a heavier and heavier and heavier coat is one way of doing it. As you notice here, I'm drawing my DWP logo on the side of his leg, the new DWP logo, and we're going to just color that in afterwards. We're surrounded with nice black colors. If you would like to put your name there, your favorite logo in there on the side of his pants, your name, perhaps family name, first name, whatever, you can go ahead and do that too. You don't have to put in my DWP logo. You can do whatever you want. It is your drawing, and that's what's wonderful about drawing. Just be inventive. And I really like that, by the way, when people send me drawings or their own drawings built upon my drawing videos, and they're different. That's really cool. I really like to see your creativity, and I like to see the way you've changed my drawings, and that's the whole point of drawings, to make each drawing your own. And if you do exactly the same as mine, fantastic. I appreciate the fact that you follow along and are learning. But making something slightly different or going ahead, being courageous and making something different, that's pretty cool. I really enjoy seeing that. And once again, you can always share those drawings on Facebook, Drawing with Paolo, Facebook page, where if you go there now, you'll see there's a whole bunch of drawings that I didn't draw, nope, other people drew, and I'm sharing them with all of you. It'd be nice to have 36,000 viewers on Facebook as well. Yeah, I don't know if that'll ever happen. Alright, so let's color these boxing shorts here. We're going to make them nice and black like his gloves. And we're going to color in this white space here to show the folds in the clothing. Very light lines. And let's make this part a little bit darker. I'm going to push that back behind the first leg, the front leg here. There we go. And of course, make this part here a little bit darker. Put little fold lines here, make these fold lines darker as well. Contrast is important in a picture, in a drawing. Contrast is the differences between tones. You really want some really, really dark tones. And you want some lighter ones too. So we're going from white through different tones all the way to black. And you want your drawings to have all of those combined, as it makes it much more interesting to look at for the eye. I get some drawings from some of you guys out there that are very monotonal, which means that they're all the same shade of gray, which is okay. That's how we begin, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as you evolve, you need to start concentrating on, okay, what should be darker in this drawing? Where do I want the eye to focus on? If I want the eye to focus on my DWP logo, then I make everything really dark in that area, and then people can see that. If everything else is white and so on. But anyway, the whole point is to build upon your drawing until you have some really, really dark areas and really, really white areas. And that's what we call contrast. Alright, we're going to keep this leg going really quick. You saw me draw a leg on the left side of the boxer, so I'm going to just speed up through the rest of this process. I'm going to color in these boots nice and black. Black boots like his black shorts, like his black boxing gloves. We're eventually going to add shoelaces to this boot as well. There we go. Now this foot is all the way up, coming off the floor. And the other foot will be pushing off. He'll be pushing off on his foot. And we need to get, to sell that energy within this drawing. We need to show that he's pushing off his left leg, and and transferring that energy through his knee to his hips, to his torso, to his shoulder, right up to his hand, and pushing that energy right through. And we want to sell that idea through this drawing. We want to look like he's really moving. I'm noticing that I haven't put too much emotion in these guys' faces. If you want to do that, go ahead. Make your guys look angry, make them look happy. Ooh, I'm happy, I'm boxing. There's those kinds of things if you want to. But I kept them pretty much emotionless. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. That's fine. Doesn't bother me none. So let's add this other foot that's pushing off the floor here. Maybe we can see the underside. Maybe that's too much. I'm going to color this in black, and then I'm going to probably reduce the underside of his foot here a little bit. There we go. It'll look a bit better in this case. Look a bit more natural. Alright, so now we're going to build the ring around him. So this is the floor. This is the corner of the ring. Just like this. We got the corner of the ring like that. And then we're going to put a post right here in the middle. And that's where we're going to set up the cables coming off the posts. So we're going to create a nice environment for these boxers to really look like they're fighting in the ring. You don't have to if you don't want to. But I really want to sell this idea of a boxing ring. And so there'll be 3 ropes here coming across. This rope seems too high, so we're going to put in a 4th one at the bottom. So we're going to put this in here. Yeah, we're going to add a 4th one down here. So let's add another line. So that means we're going to draw 8 lines coming across. Here's my 8th line. And these are the different cables. We're going to reproduce that on the other side. Add a nice mirror effect. And there's an angle here, so keep in mind that this is perspective. So perspective means that something is moving away from us. And as it moves away, it's sort of tapering away and becoming, or aiming at a point in the middle of the drawing. So that's why we have these lines are in an angle. And then we're going to add this little stitched piece of, it's like plastic or nylon here, that are on the ropes, which I think are meant to impede the boxer from falling through the ropes, the cables. So I'm just going to add this little thingamajig by drawing rectangles across here and then adding some shading to each rope. And then we're going to add some stitch lines in here, some rectangular stitch lines and whatnot. I'll color that in. There we go. And then we're going to add rectangles within inside of each of these shapes to look like there are multiple stitches going across in there. So here's this first rectangle. It's like that. This is like what they use to stitch this stuff together. Well, this is what stitches the stuff together, essentially. It's just like some kind of thread goes across these things, attached to the cables. And then we're going to add S lines, which represent the detail to these ropes. And we need to put them everywhere. We put S lines on every one of these ropes. But we don't want to put them, too dark, as we want our characters to be the most important part. Let's color in the post here in the middle. Make it nice and dark at the top. So one unified shade, and then nice and dark at the top. A bit of shading here. And then we're going to put those little cushions that protect the boxers for each of where the ropes connect, and color that in. Well guys, for those of you that wanted boxers, I hope you enjoy this drawing. I really hope you meant boxing boxers and not just like the clothing. If I were to draw boxers, it would have taken 5 seconds for if we're talking about the underwear. But I hope you meant boxers as in boxing boxers, and this is what we've got. So I hope you enjoyed the drawing, and I hope you've had fun drawing it yourself. Let's add a few more shoelaces here. And then, you know what? One last thing to do is to add my signature. And I'm going to wish you a great day. Have fun drawing this stuff. Take care. See you soon on another episode of Drawing with Paolo.